I'm looking for somewhere to stay for the night.
We don't cater for visitors.
Well, there must be somewhere.
No.
In 1973, there was a film about an establishment figure visiting an island that was largely cut off. It had its own strong population, and they resented outsiders. And they made their feelings very clear when this establishment figure came ashore. But we're not talking about the Wicker Man. We're talking about Doomwatch. Doomwatch had been a successful series on BBC. It had run for about 3 years. Sadly, many of the episodes are now missing, and I have to confess I haven't seen any of them. But in 1973, a film based on the series was released. Now, this has often been described as one of the core folk horror films, and certainly the whole setup from the start gives that feeling. It was written by Kit Pedler and Gerry Davis, who'd done a number of stories for Doctor Who, and they were doing some, ecologically aware stuff at the time, warning people about, some of the dangers and side effects of what we were doing to the environment. And Doomwatch is very much part of that eco-horror that was prevalent in the early and mid-70s. It opens up with some shots of birds being rescued after an oil slick, and we cut away to what is Doomwatch, and Doomwatch is a government body that's set up to look at the impacts of scientific research and what's happening to the environment. And they're discussing an oil spill that had occurred around the south of England and had impacted in certain areas, and they wanted to go back a year later to see what the impact was and if there was anything, any long-term damage.
So all that was 12 months ago. And now we've got to find out what effect the oil and the new detergent they use to disperse the oil has had on seashore life.
On Balf, huh?
Oh, Balf is the nearest island and the one worst hit at the time.
As part of this, Dr. Shaw, played by Ian Brennan, visits the remote island of Balf off the south coast of Cornwall. Now, Balf had been a very insular community, and when he pulls ashore, you get that classic folk horror closing of the doors, people looking out through the windows and then closing the curtains. Nobody wants to help him. His very presence there is totally resented. Now, this is a really difficult film to do without doing spoilers, because there are a lot of twists and there are a lot of revelations, and I'm not here to spoil it for you. I'm here to let you know what the film's like, and then you can make your own mind up whether or not you want to see it. So it's kind of hard to do a video without spoilers for this one, and that's why I decided maybe it was time to do another channel. So I've set up a Patreon so that I can do spoiler videos on some of these films, where I think there is a lot to be said, a lot of discussion to be had, but I can't do it in a spoiler-free video. So if you'd like to find out what else I think about Doomwatch and some of the other films that we've discussed, why not join the Patreon and help me continue to produce videos, maybe afford to buy a new mic, and just improve the overall quality of what I do. So Balf has all the classic ingredients of a folk horror village. It's got the pub where you're not welcome, it's got the dubious local copper who doesn't help much. Your mind goes back to that 1950s American drama based on the Charles Walton murder. Dodgy local coppers. Now, as I say, the film stars Ian Brennan. He's the Dr. Shaw. He's the one who comes from Doomwatch to to carry out the investigation, and although it's a year ago that this slick happened, there seems to have been something going on for a lot longer.
No, I don't want to be put away.
Well, they're just going for a walk.
At this time of the night? You must be joking.
So it soon becomes obvious to Dr. Shaw that the villagers have secrets. They seem to be hiding something. There seems to be something going on that he's not being let into. He meets another person in the one place that he's been able to find rooms, and she's the local teacher. She's an outsider as well. She's only been there 2 years and still isn't really part of the community, but she feels strongly about the community, and she's reluctant to help Dr. Shaw in his investigations if it's going to do anything to upset the villagers or do anything to impact on their lives.
As an outsider who has to live here and keep their trust, I, more than anyone, have to respect the islanders' wishes.
So part of the film is slowly how he tries to win her round. Now, in fact, she's been there 2 years, and this oil slick was supposed to have been a year before. She gives an indication that actually there's something more, there's something longer. But when she came, the villagers were already very inward looking and very suspicious. Now, the horror role of this film tends to be around the fact that there are secrets. People are seen moving around at night and nobody will admit to it. So there's a very clear village conspiracy going on, and he's struggling to get to the bottom of it. Now, he does his testing, sends his test results back to Doomwatch in London, but does that answer all the questions? The Dr. Shaw is played by Bannen, and we saw him in an earlier thriller episode, Won't Write Home Mum I'm Dead. He was also in the Beyond the Grave segment with Angela Pleasance, and he was her prospective partner. So we've seen him a few times here on Who Gives a Folk, and he's actually been in so many things that to try and cover it in a video about a particular film would be too long. So I'm planning to do a video purely about Ian Bannen in the future. The school teacher, well, she's played by Judy Geeson, or Judy Geeson, I'm not sure which, and she's also got an interesting resume. She's still acting. She was born in 1948, and I say she's still acting now. She was one of the many people who appeared in that weird film Here We Go Round the Mulberry Bush in 1968. She was in Fear in the Night in 1972 with Peter Cushing and Joan Collins, and she's played in a number of horror films throughout the 70s. She was also in Poldark, several episodes of Poldark. She was in a weird 70s sci-fi called Star Maidens, one of the aliens arriving from outer space. She was in A Candle for the Devil. She appeared in Dominique alongside Jenny Agutter in 1979, and she is in Two Tales of the Unexpected. In 1984 she relocated to America and appeared in a number of American programs, most notably Charmed in 2000, and she also started appearing again in some of the American horror films in recent times, including Lords of Salem in 2012. So she's got a strong record of appearing in films that we would probably appreciate here on Who Gives a Folk. So you've got two lead actors in this who are familiar with the uncanny, the uneasy, the slightly dodgy. The location itself, well, that's Polperro in Cornwall. A lot of people think it's Polperro, but it isn't, it's Polperro. And the Rashley Inn features many of the scenes in the film. You can still go there today. I'm going to Cornwall in a few weeks' time, so I'm going to try and pop down to Polperro and get some location footage, just so I can do another location video. It's, you know, Cornish villages are lovely. Some of the scenes are set on a stage set in Shepperton and have appeared in loads of other movies, including The Twins of Evil. And it's amazing how this set reappears in so many films. It does work as a stand-in for Polperro. I don't know why they had to use stage rather than film it all in Polperro, because there's great views and great scenes in Polperro. So why they had to resort to using stage scenes later, it's a bit odd. There's also a small role for George Sanders, who we've talked about in Psychomania.
I thought your manner left something to be desired the last time we met, yes.
This was another one of his last appearances, and I think this one also came out after he'd committed suicide. But he plays his usual character. He's an admiral in the Navy who really doesn't want to be bothered with digging up secrets from the past.
I don't know that I care for your imputation, Doctor.
And as the Doctor wanders around the island taking his samples, he realises he's being followed. He realises somebody watching him. There is quite clearly something that's been kept secret from him. Something he's not allowed to know about. And they're obviously very worried. But he's going to find out something they don't want him to know.
This island has enough trouble of its own without you coming here and stirring up more.
So that's Doomwatch. It's a slow burn. There's a lot going on. And I think it's one of the most important films of the early 70s. I'll say I've been wanting to do it for a long time, but wasn't sure how to do it spoiler free. If you want to see the spoilers, come and join us on Patreon, and wait until you've watched the film though. Until next time, take care.